Welcome.
Oh. And this is what happens. You did a big yawn right before we started.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
That's the vibe. Welcome. Welcome, Dana.
Welcome, Courtney.
Welcome to Not Qualified to
Be here. Because we are very...
not
We're not qualified
to be here. No.
We are not.
So I wanted to introduce you today as Diglett Dana.
What?
Diglett Dana.
Diglett?
And Charmander Courtney.
Oh, that's a Pokemon.
You got it.
Okay, because I know Charmander, but I've never
Go
heard of
with
a
you.
Diglett.
Okay. It's the only Pokemon I can think of with D, and I've stitched you up because he's like a little worm dude.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if that was an actual Pokemon or
Yeah.
it was just made up.
No, he's a little cute he's got a little nose and he's like a worm coming out of the ground, but he's not a worm, he's like a girthy
Cool,
worm.
he's a Pokemon.
I just thought it was fitting that
Very
we're
fitting.
Pokemons today.
Yes.
Minus the every part that makes Pokemon cool. And I've lost her, guys. I've lost her. So, Dana, do tell me, how was the weekend?
Weekend was really good, actually. It was nice. I've been having some really good chill weekends, which I feel like when you're not working in hospo, every weekend's pretty chill.
Right?
So anything that you do other than working in hospo is considered a chill weekend.
And don't you just fucking like take advantage? You're full. You have like grateful moments where you're like, yes, I can have a quiet weekend.
As quick as they go, they also seem to they last a lot longer than if I was working, which I feel like is the standard.
100%.
But we took a little road trip down to not really down. Anyway, we went to Parks, which is just past like Bathurst and Orange.
Yep.
And we spent the weekend out there and came back Sunday afternoon or morning afternoon.
What'd you get up to? Did you do any cute activities whilst you were out in the scenery?
Yeah, we went out and saw the dish. There's like a giant dish from that.
Like a satellite dish?
Yeah, so it actually
Oh,
helped.
you're not kidding.
No, an actual dish. So it was used. It's still currently being used as part of the CSIRO. Like their science one that works with NASA, and I did the little visual thing where I learn about it on the weekend, and I've already forgotten. It's one of like 4 or something around the world, and because it's in such a vast landscape, it can go there so it doesn't interfere with like radios and stuff.
Gang,
And
okay.
yeah, it helped with like Apollo 13, I think. There's a movie about it with Sam Neill. Yeah. We went out, we saw it, took a few photos.
So instead of the big pineapple or the big toilet.
No. This is functional though.
You saw the big dish.
The big dish.
Was it big?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty big. And then we watched like the 3D movie in the information center where it's got like a couple kids games in there, and then the 3D movie about space exploration and what the dish does.
We're becoming old people.
It was wholesome. We did that, and then we did some drive around. Yeah, I had some nice dinner because we went up to see James's mum, so that was really nice. Yeah.
Cute.
It was good. It was a good little trip. Got to play with it. She's got a dog. He's got like tiger stripes on him. His name's Max. So cute.
Oh my gosh.
So he's huge.
Yeah.
But cute.
That sounds so sweet. I'm glad you're having wholesome weekends.
What did you get up to this weekend?
I had quite a funny weekend. Friday, we had drinks at my friend's house. We had a wine night, and it was like, basically it was like 4 couples, and so
Cute.
very cute. We're all super close, and somehow I brought not sake. What's it called? Soju. I brought 3 bottles of soju to the party because I walked by.
Dangerous.
I walked
on
by,
a wine night too.
Yep. And it was welcomed warmly by the crew.
That's how you know you got good people around
I
you.
know. So we played the soju game, which
that's the lid?
Yes.
And you flick the lid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, for those who don't know, you twist it, you take off the cap, and you keep the round circly thing
It's
connected
like
to
the
it.
seal.
The
Yeah.
seal
The
connected
seal's
to it.
on by like a little
Yeah,
piece of metal,
yeah,
like a little bit.
and you go in a circle, and you got to try and flick it off. And if you flick it off, the person to your right who had just done it has to scull the rest of it. So you either do it quickly and then knocking that back, or you get to the bottom. And
You don't have a lot.
so it ended up in a night of girls versus boys dance off.
Ooh, any genre in particular or just general dance battle?
T.I., 50 Cent. There was some John Mayer in there. There was no theme.
I'm imagining you like heavy break dancing right now.
It was so funny because the winner of the night, we actually crowned one of our friends. She's a dancer, like old school
Unfair
dancer.
advantage.
She didn't win. Her boyfriend did. And it was so funny because he just went balls to the wall, as my favorite term.
Always.
By that I mean he put his legs on the wall and started twerking. It was magical.
That's definitely a sight, and that'll take the cake.
Correct. Yep. And then we got the guys to like line up and twerk. It was literally so much fun. And then I worked the Saturday at my new job on the island, which was mad. No comments on that one. It was beautiful, great view, great shift with our favorite human. And then we somehow ended up at one of the other boys' houses afterwards because everyone went to the races, had things on. We all met up back at one of the other boys' houses and we played a game of Articulate.
What's that?
It's like charades.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But like you have to speak it out and not say the word.
Oh, okay. No, yes.
One round, all you can do is speak. Next round, all you can do is act out. Next round, you can't say anything but one word. And but you use the same cards for each round. So it's like memory and stuff. Yep.
Okay, I've never played that.
Which again was just wines and then to whiskeys. Yep. Yeah, and then Sunday, same. We had the best like our friend group. Sunday we had a wholesome picnic at Rushcutters Bay. We had rosés, and it was one of the girls' birthdays. We all just sat there in a big group and yeah.
Oh, nice. It was bit of a nice little boozy weekend of fun.
Twas indeed. I was definitely slower on the Sunday and very sheepish to drinking rosé, but otherwise,
a few glasses in, and then you're having the best time ever.
Exactly. But yeah.
We both had some really wholesome weekends. Yeah. Nice and chill, ready for the week.
Ready to deep dive into super excitingness. But before we get on to this, we have to do our...
I feel like Courtney's got a song for us.
Oh, I've always got a song in my heart. I once was a kid with other little kids. Now Dana and Courtney aren't such little kids. Now we're out here adulting. Yeah, these kids are adulting. I don't ever want to grow up. Chitty bang and adulting, baby.
Yes.
Did you... I know that you were like not frantically, but you were looking.
I was struggling on getting a chitty bang this
week. That's the word.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get.
It wasn't that I didn't do anything that wasn't like I wasn't an adult the whole week, but I wanted something like, worth it.
Adulting tangs are hard to name.
Yeah. My chitty bang for this week is just something like it's more of like a personal goal that I've got in my mind that I haven't reached. And I find it a bit of a chitty bang.
Yep.
So my chitty bang for this week was I set out to go to the gym this week and like start fresh. And what is it? It's Wednesday and I haven't been to the gym yet this week. So that's also me putting it out there. So now that it's out there, by next week's episode, I should have at least been to the gym at least more than 3 or 4 times. So I'm putting it out into the universe.
Vibes.
But my adulting though, over the weekend while we were in parks, I drove.
You drove?
Yes.
Oh my God, how'd you go?
It was fine. It was all good. I was all mainly in my head. Like,
can you
because I
remind
know how to
us?
drive.
Do you have your license? No.
I have my L's currently. Let's just set the scene for you guys. I am 27. I've had my L's. They've expired, and I've renewed my L's And I've never had my P's or anything like that. I will say living in the city, I haven't necessarily needed them. And I have probably got a bit of like PTSD from driving, but got in the car, it worked out all fine.
Hells yeah.
Yeah.
Was the car manual or automatic?
No, it was an automatic.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't really feel the need to do a manual.
Absolutely not.
My first 6 hours of ever driving in my life were on a manual. It's not my vibe.
Manuals, like I can drive a manual, but it's beyond pointless. I'll never buy a manual car in my life.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I like to eat and drive.
Yeah, just like, I'd rather do anything else but change gears.
Yep, 100%. I'm not driving a hotted up sports car that like it does make sense for that. Like unless you're driving something where you
also in Sydney traffic and things like that. No way. I'm not setting myself up for disaster.
I'm not gonna lie though. Okay, basically like essentially like coming from like more regional, it like would always tick me off because like country people are always like, if you can't drive a manual, you're not a real man. Like, you're not really driving if you don't drive a manual.
Yeah.
And I'd always be like, grow the fuck up. No one wants to. You're just doing it to be obnoxious. And I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoy the fact that like my boyfriend can't drive a manual and I can. It brings me a little bit of joy.
This little mini competition that you're having.
Like, don't worry, love. Got this. I'll drive stick.
What is your chitty bang and adulting for the week?
Okay, you actually inspired me. Okay, my adulting is actually that I have always, it's been on my bucket list to go to Reformer Pilates.
Yes.
And so my friend goes to a gym my housemate, goes to a gym up the road, and I joined her, and I went went to the gym with her for the first time this year, gangs. And I may have mentioned that last one, but since then I have done a reformers class.
Yes.
And I'm wildly proud of myself because I've always wanted to do one.
I've honestly seen so many people like the Pilates classes, like the, how everyone says the Pilates body, and it is a very different body from weight training.
It is. Look, to be perfectly honest, for some reason, I had built it up in my head as this magical, cool thing that I was going to absolutely love. To be dead honest, it was weird as hell.
I've heard that it's not what you expect, but also if you're not in shape, it fucking hurts.
Like, it was just, I like classes. I think I want more control. I want to do things right. That's what brings me solace, is doing things correctly. Because I hate the gym for the fact of that. I'd only go if I really got a personal trainer to walk me through it, because I don't want to do things wrong.
Yeah.
But gym brings me no joy. But classes, at least there's people. But yeah, this lady actually wasn't on the machine. She had a broken foot, so she was just yelling instructions at us.
Ooh.
Me first time on a box pulling strings. She's like, put the small loop in the left ankle and then the right and then and I'm like, I can't even tell my left and rights, bro.
It's also concerning. How did you break your foot?
Yeah.
What are you doing, Pilates?
Son.
I need some more information.
Literally. But that was a mini win for me. And then my chitty bang was most definitely a purchase from Glassons when I was going grocery shopping. I entered into East Gardens, and as I walk into East Gardens, I go in the top level because I park up the top and strategically walk past Glassons. Spent $100 on clothes, which was wildly unnecessary.
That's why I don't go to Broadway as often as I like. Sometimes I like going to Broadway, but every time I do, everything I need is on the floor where I have to walk past like Glassons or a few different stores.
100%. I've
banned myself from going to Broadway until I was like, it's absolutely necessary.
Yep. So yeah, that was a mild chitty bang. Especially because we just bought Bali flights and everything, and I should just save it for fun experiences rather than more clothes, because I have too many.
We can justify it, with our girl math.
I'm actually this season coming to a cinema near you. I am actually I have a new system in place. Every item that I buy, I must sell or donate another piece. So if I bought 2 dresses, I now must give away 2 pieces or sell 2 pieces on my Depop.
Nice.
So if you want anything, hit me up on my Depop, son.
Let's get it.
But yeah, that's my thing.
I'll try to bang.
Oh my god, I feel like not nervous energy. I don't know how to explain the energy. Like I'm actually so G to just like jump into the topic, but also a little bit nervous in getting into the bits and pieces because when you wrote up your little reminders.
Yes.
And I wrote mine, and I was like, "Ooh, I gotta reveal some tangs about baby
go
Courtney."
Deep down, like, because last episode we discussed friendships, and then we thought we'd do like a sort of like a part 2, which is like more on like personal development and ourselves as well, because it's very easy to talk about, like, maybe not always so easy, but to talk about like friendships and people around you and different things, but it's a lot harder to take a look at yourself and your self-reflection.
100%. Or as ChatGTP put it, because we asked ChatGTP how to make personal development less preachy and a little bit softer, and he came up with self-growth journey, unleashing your potential, leveling up your life. So I'm gonna stick with leveling up.
Yes.
In a non-gross hustle mentality way.
Yeah, everything is definitely like a level up in your life.
But if we want to go full circle, everyone, this is why I went Pokemons, because just like Pokemons, we must evolve.
Yes.
Diglett becomes, oh god, Diglett Trio. Ooh. And I become Charizard. Charmander becomes Charizard.
I think that's probably the only Pokemon that I would have known.
Pikachu.
I know who Pikachu is. I don't know what he evolves into.
Oh, you want me to run you through them?
No.
I'm wildly obsessed. You're going to get this anyway. Pikachu. Oh, shoot. No, dang it. I used to practice this all the time.
What is going on?
One more time. Pikachu, Raichu. I was really obsessed.
I'm getting the vibe. I'm sensing.
Have you not met Pikachu? Oh,
no.
I have a plush Pikachu that I've had since I was 2.
Oh no, I've never met Pikachu.
He has a passport. He's like left the country. One of my friends took him, and he got to go see England. He's traveled around, and every country has a little stamp, like a postage stamp.
That's so cute.
And he has a backpack.
Oh my gosh, I've never met Pikachu. We'll meet.
He's coming next episode then.
Okay, next episode we'll have Pikachu on with us.
He can talk to us about being a Pikachu.
About his travels.
But yes, the evolution of us.
So we started last week about talking about like growth and like moving within our friendships and like doing things that are boundaries, setting boundaries and things like that, and setting ourselves up for success, better like bettering ourselves in a way of like sometimes like friendships that aren't necessary and doing things for yourself and your own mental health.
Yep.
And I think that's where we're pulling most of what we're talking about today from.
100%. Actually, here's a better way to frame it because you've done super well. What first sparked you on this? Or what made you aware of personal development as an idea? Because I know I personally never really knew of it.
I think I've always been somewhat self-aware. Then there's levels of self-awareness that you have, but there's different. It's not until sometimes you do like it takes something else to like trigger like actually putting a name to it and things like that. I can't really pinpoint exactly, but it was more conversations with a few people of like them doing certain things and they're like this is like my like personal growth and things like that.
Yeah.
And really putting that into like my own things in a way. But I've generally been very self-aware unless I'm like, you get caught up sometimes.
100%.
But it's like a habit now to do like consistent check-ins.
Yeah.
And those check-ins are what makes the difference between just going completely off the rails and who knows what to actually progressing and having growth.
Yeah.
When was the first time you'd put personal development into?
I actually, like, weirdly enough, because like you said, we're always like, I was always self-aware in a way that it wasn't helpful, but I knew what was going on. I knew why I did these things. Like, it was annoying. Like, I was a therapist's dream in a sense because I could
The
figure it out.
self-diagnosing.
Or even like, like I knew where things came from, but I actually did nothing about them. Like, if something would happen, I'd be like, yeah, it's triggered by this one trauma. Like crap.
But then
like
it's
that.
the steps forward after that.
No, I had zero steps. I was just aware.
The tools and the coping mechanisms.
Correct. But it's so funny. Like the actual thing that made me, I didn't know what personal development was. To me, like all those motivationally, like personal growth, personal development, your mindset journey, that crap literally sounded like culty stuff to me.
Yeah, like a pyramid scheme or something.
Or like those hustle mentality, brah, and some beefy dude being like, "You've gotta take cold showers." Like, I didn't take any of that stuff seriously because we're not taught the importance of these things.
Yes.
We're taught to grow and learn, right? But personally, like, you're actually not taught the tools. You're not given these things in school. Your parents tell you to be better people, and you build a moral framework. But like, you're not taught to build, like, protect your energy, create boundaries, all those things that are so necessary. And the place that I found, like, quote unquote, personal development and started investigating further with the whole concept was from a podcast. Ta-da!
Here we are.
And from that one podcast, I listened to more and I read a book. Ooh. But like actually started investigating in a way that was positive because like it was at a point where I'd basically got rock bottom in the stance of like mentally, and I was like not in a place where I was happy with myself. And I thought to myself, I really need to shift the way that I think because I have such a poor sense of self that yes, I'm resilient in situations and I can brush stuff off, but I haven't taught myself how to be happy in a sense. Like I've taught myself how to build a fucking smile in front of a mask.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I want to
No. That's exactly right. You touched on saying like what you're not taught when you grow up certain things. I feel like we're a product of our parents who are product of their parents.
Yeah.
And if you think back, like I was looking up the other day, I was working out the dates. Like my mom was pretty much the same age as I'll be next year when she had me. That's freaks me out because I'm like, I'm in no state to take care of another being.
Bro,
personally.
How weird is it?
It's such a weird concept. So, and I also thought when I was younger, being self-aware, because there were so many people around me that just didn't have that I was already on the way. Like that was enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Being aware of the things was enough. And that was already a few steps ahead of like some other people around me that I was like, oh no, I'm okay. I know what the triggers are. I know what this is. But still when things would trigger or happen, it didn't solve the problem. I just knew about it.
It was just like keep on trucking. Like it's survival over flourishing.
It's also sometimes the worst when you're going through one of these, like let's say you're having like you're feeling anxious that day and you know why, or like sometimes you don't know why, but if you were triggered by something and you knew why, but what's worse is still going through it and sitting there and knowing why it happened but not being able to get yourself out. It's like being stuck in a little prison.
Yes.
Where you're like, I've got everything. I'm ready to go. I just don't have the key to open the door and get out.
Yes.
I like that's where I feel like I definitely could have progressed earlier if I'd explored a few different things, but I don't think you learn as you go.
And that's like the biggest thing, right?
And wanting and being open to have conversations about learning and growing and, you know, taking those steps. That's all you got to do. As long as you're willing to go forward.
It's like super interesting because now that, and it's not like, I don't know how to brand this. It's not like, you know, lightning in a bottle. It's not this quack idea. Personal development is something that's so important, but it's really downplayed and can have a really non important stigma.
And plus, it is also not one size fits all.
No.
So there needs to be multiple ways and multiple things for people to go to, multiple tools that people can use, because like same with learning, like one way someone learns visually isn't the same way someone else will learn.
Yeah.
So no one's going to develop the same.
100%. And it's even like a big thing for me personally is I found it super helpful when I was listening to like this podcast and they were deep diving into like, I like having words and having something described to me, then I can understand the theory. So like I learn about like money mindsets and how like some people are like, not some people, you're born and your parents pass on money mindsets and you either go the opposite way, like they're poor savers, so you're really frugal with your money, or vice versa, or like and you're taught these things as a kid, and I was like, wow, this is something I'd never thought of, and like then that's your relationship with money and finance, and like it's such a broad spectrum. I didn't realize, because everything's tied in together, everything in your life, all these things.
Everything is tied together. And also growing up, like you're brought up with obviously like your parents telling you kind of what's expected and what, you know, and you base life kind of off what you see. So what they do for work, things like that, or like, you know, let's say like gravity is like what you're supposed to be, not sort of like what your own journey could look like. So you kind of like boxed into this thought, especially like I'd say with schools. Schools kind of box you into this. They don't give you these infinite options. It's like, what do you want to do?
Exactly.
At the young age of 16 to 17, they want to know what you want to do. And the options that they give you are so limited that you don't know what you want to do. So then from there, you're chasing something until you find yourself in a way.
But like you're not given the tools to you can goal set in a career stance, but like like my school wasn't too bad. They had a sort of reflection-y, like our religion / RE was sort of like reflectionally type things, but it was more like exterior rewards and things you can do in your community, like with like little bits of reflection. Like they weren't half bad, but they didn't actually name or talk about what we were doing. It was more like exercises. So they're on the right track, but I feel like if they really upsold the importance of how the way that you think, or the way that you can teach yourself to think, which sounds so dumb, but like telling yourself that these situations, like with a certain type of mindset, is okay rather than just surviving through them.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Definitely. And plus, it's also super hard to tell a 16, 17-year-old anything. Let's be real.
100.
Like, I think I can speak for both of us when our main personal development years, would you say, were between 22, 24?
Let me get up my personal development timeline.
Because
I mapped it for you.
I definitely think mine started around like 21, 22. It was when I sort of saw some patterns and things, and I knew that I wanted to sort of like start to like break them. But it's still like there's still things to this day that I'm this year, I think that I've got a handle on, but I won't know until like working. I will work myself until like I've always we've always had multiple jobs. I'll work myself until I've literally physically burned out so bad that I have to take time off to sort of get to a level where I'm okay to go back to work, because I will just work until I'm dead.
Yeah.
And it's so not healthy.
It's the theory of like keeping busy, like that we've discussed before, because keeping busy in the eyes, even to yourself or to other people, you think is a sign of success. And so you have this mindset that
you think you're successful by doing all this work, but really you're not spending any time with the people around you. You're just working yourself into like oblivion, and for what?
Exactly. No, completely. I'm looking my little timeline. I mapped it out. 20 to 24, shit human.
Vibe.
100%. Okay, do you want I even like wrote a little thing under my timeline.
Yeah, I want to hear yours. I'll tell you mine after that.
Okay, this is the thing that I promised you that I'm nervous to talk about, but I'm sure everyone felt.
Let's go.
Okay. I wrote selfish main character mentality. I seriously believed I was the main character in the story of my life. And like when I say that, I know that people are like, "Oh my god, like I'm the main character." I full believed that in life only happened around me, and when I left a room, life stopped. It was like a Sims or like a simulation, and the world revolved around me. And I had this really toxic mindset until like mid teenage.
Okay.
Because I don't know what it was, but it's this whole thing of like you're the special person, like, you know? And it sounds fun, but that's how I perceived it. And I truly was super selfish, super singular minded in a way that I didn't treat people well. I thought everything was about me. And then when I sort of dismissed the theory, but still I still was super selfish in that I'm taught that I've got all this potential, I need to do all these things. So like you're not I don't like it's not like
it's like a tunnel vision in a way.
Yes, that's exactly it. And I get a bit stumped on this because obviously I'm very different, and
I would not say that about you at all.
I'm really proud of how different I am now, because I was like any of my high school friends, shout out if you're listening right now, can attest. I was a nightmare. Like, yes, I had my like ups and downs, and like yes, I'd be a good friend, but ultimately I was pretty fucking selfish. But it was only because the mentality that I was taught in the household I was in, like my mum, fucking G, love you so much, mum. But like it, like it's, you've got to look after yourself and it's family, and like that was the closest thing in a sense. And like everything else is, I don't know, it was like a survival technique. Yeah. And there's no it's
a protection thing as well. It's like you can't get hurt if you think that it's about you. It's a protection thing. Like you can't get hurt if you're only doing things that suit you.
Exactly. And then again, you're a child. It's how you must learn these things. And everyone's selfish as you grow up, of course. And as guilty as I feel, because I feel like I was like a little shit about it, but like it wasn't until I started to really, like you said, I was self-aware, but when I begun to realize that there's a lot more and there's happiness in just being fine with myself and everyone around me, like I stopped trying to prove things. I stopped thinking the world revolved around me, and it made me happier because I would get disappointed when people pulled out of plans, when people had lives, when they didn't follow through on something. I'd be so insulted because I was like, why? Why are you doing this to me? That's like the worst thing you could possibly do. And I get so depressed or angry or sad, take it so personally. It was toxic.
Yeah.
But it took me finding this and growing as a human to finally be fine. Just peeps doing peeps.
Peeps doing peeps.
Sorry, I keep wafting. I'm real passionate.
But it takes a lot for someone to like admit that and also take steps to change. Because you'll absolutely know someone in your life that is either similar or has something like that, But there's a lot of people that just are like, it's too late to change, or this is just who I am.
Yes.
Just blame the universe. This is just how I am, and then just die on that hill, and that's them for life.
100%.
And like, cool, that's you. I'm probably not going to be around you, but also you need to have that steps to make change.
100%. Like learning to communicate in a healthy freaking way. Oh my God.
That is the biggest thing. I will say that I'm still learning how to do that well. That's one of my biggest flaws forever, has never been able to communicate.
Yep.
Like, even as a kid, I, let's say, like, had a tantrum or something and went to bed, and like before dinner I'd sleep, like no dinner, wake up the next morning, pretend nothing had happened and continue on with the day. And that was a regular pattern, if like anything. Like there was no talking about it, or like, hey, it was just pretend it didn't happen. Let's keep moving. So it was like an avoidance like technique.
Yeah, of course. It
was just so ingrained that coming, like, not wanting any confrontational, not being able to control the outcome, positive or negative, was something that I just couldn't do. Like, so now being able to have different conversations, and that's one of the best things that I like about being like with James. Like, we're always talking, and he will ask questions. Sometimes still need to be like prompted for like, but having that open conversation just about anything, just as like, and having to physically remind myself to be like, okay, if you're in this situation, you need to talk about it. You can't, because also thinking from the other side, the other perspective. Yeah. They don't know what's going on in my head. No idea what's going on in my head. And there's so many people that I want to send my amends out, my apologies. Yeah, that's where I was a shit human, my avoidance technique.
But like you said, like you don't have the tools at a point, and it's not until that you teach yourself or try and learn or grow.
I thought I was benefiting some people by not having these conversations 100%. Because I thought this is just gonna, not make you, like, anyone feel good. Like, okay, cool, I'm gonna dip. Bye.
Ciao.
Boy. But in my head, I was like, I've had that happen to me, and I've been racking my brain thinking something about and then once I fully understood myself how it felt, I was like, shit, that's how I've made other people feel. Yeah. And I don't ever want to do that to someone else.
Exactly.
Even like the best intentions in my head weren't clearly demonstrated. Not at all. But I'll definitely say the worst thing from like I'd say from 21 to maybe 22, 23. That was when the peak of like working at like Ivy and stuff like that. We were like working hard, doing things like that. But I had a lot of people tell me it wasn't a problem. I found it myself as a problem. Yep. Where like we'd go to work, and because we could drink where we worked, I drank a lot. Like hospital, you drink a lot. Yeah, yeah. Generally. Mm-hmm. Like, and everyone always says like the average that people drink is way more than we should anyway. Yep. Putting that aside, like we'd start work at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 5 o'clock. By 6 o'clock I'd have had 3 drinks already. Yeah, and I could drink. Like, so from 5 o'clock drink, I can drink. So like it just got to the point where we were just drinking every day that it became a crutch without me knowing. So going into social situations, I need a drink.
100%.
Need a drink. Yeah. And then I was like, it took me figuring out and sitting, like talking to myself, and even like my friends, like we were all like, okay, let's have a cleanse because we worked in the same place. Yeah. But I was like, I'm so socially anxious that I need a drink. I'd had to tell myself like, no, I don't. Like if I can't have a conversation with someone without this drink, then I probably like, I shouldn't, like, I don't know if I know them, like I shouldn't really be having these conversations, or like I need to work on it anyway, put myself in the uncomfortable zone. Yeah. But I was like, I need help. Yeah. I need to have a look at myself and see what I should be doing.
Did anything tip it? or did a friend, like, was that when your friend pointed it out?
My friend did point it out, and then it wasn't fully until I left that place that I like separating yourself from somewhere really gives you the difference. Like this is how much I had to drink that within, I'd say, like I was still like what 21, 22, so I wasn't like heavy or anything, but as soon as I finished up work within a couple of weeks, I lost 5 kilos. I think it was 2 weeks. 5 kilos of alcohol weight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like straight up. I like weighed myself. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, that's how much I've like sugar and alcohol that I've just been consuming.
Of course.
And it wasn't until I was like, oh, like I'm fine. I can separate myself. I don't need, and went on the right tracks.
Yeah.
Still like would still go out on weekends and things like that, but it was definitely not as bad as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a point where I was like, self-growth, please.
Self-indulging journey.
I need to adult a little more.
I need to adult hardcore. So I wrote down some key points, and I want to know if you want to add to any of these as like a little thing that I see, because again, it is a weird topic in the sense of if you're listening and you haven't really explored personal development. So I made little dot points in ways, and I want to see like an example, or whatever, if you want to digress on it. Protecting. So here are my key points: protecting energies, which self-explanatory, is something that you learn, and that we touched on in the last episode, where you basically, instead of blaming people and are being surrounded by people that drain you, it's actually making sure that you have people around you that aren't draining you. Or if they are having heavy conversations and you can't take it on, then you don't take it on.
Knowing what fits into what you're feeling and things like that.
Because sometimes you need to, and again, if you take on too much and you drain yourself, you're actually worse off, and you're worse off to the people around you that matter.
And sometimes there are so many people, I've had a few people that I can think of as well in my life, where they really mean well in what they're saying, but it doesn't come across right. Or like I had one of my friends who the way he said it, he was just like, he was like, you're lazy.
Oh.
Like he goes, you're lazy, you don't do this, this and this, because he'd do things like he'd get up early, he'd go for a run, he'd go for the gym, this, that, the third, do this, and this during the day. And this was during one of my like depressive states. And I knew I was in like a funk.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I was lazy. I was just physically, I could not get out of bed.
100%, yeah.
Before that. And like I was like what's the word? Insomnia?
Insomnia.
Yeah, so I would be up all night and then I'd sleep during the day. He'd just be like, you're lazy. And like trying to explain that, and he was like, that's not real. And I was like, okay.
I'd be sizing my dude.
Shut down. In a way, like I shut down to a point where I was like, well, I can't talk to you about it, because if you don't believe that this is something, then there's nowhere to talk about it, because you're not willing to accept that there's other things in life.
There's no constructive conversation.
No. And I was like, I don't want to get into an argument about this, because I'm already feeling some type of way.
Exactly.
Why would I just make this worse?
Exactly.
But in his head, he was trying to motivate. And I could see he was like, no, you're just like this. Just do this, and this. And best intentions for what he was capable of.
Yeah.
But it wasn't helpful for me at all.
No.
So instead of trying to go back to like, prove that wasn't a thing, I just, protect my energy and, try and work on it myself.
And it sort of goes in with my next point, which is making boundaries, which is sort of hand in hand with the energies.
Yes.
Which is like a big thing with, like, in that situation, you sort of do have to step back, because you're like, we are different. We're obviously communicating differently. So you need to not put up a wall, but like say to yourself that you're allowed to just like take a step back from things. You're allowed to say, even like those friends, and I'm a huge like I want to help whoever I can. Like my friends, I will protect, look after in any way, shape, or form. And sometimes I forget to put up the boundaries and I take on a little too much.
Because, it drains your energy by not putting up boundaries. Like sometimes people are in a state where they're like, come to me whenever, do this, that, and the third, but you may have let your boundary down a little, but then it's overstepping. It's like there's no time for Courtney, no time for Dana.
And there's actually a huge example that comes to mind that I think is extremely important. And I don't know if this applies to everyone, but I think setting boundaries with family members is fucking huge. And I come from a huge family. And if you guys don't know, my mum's one of 14. I have like 28 cousins or something like that on one side. So we have a circus of a family. There is drama, there is gossip, there's to and fro, there's so much crap 24/7.
Yeah.
I love them all dearly. However, if I get too involved with the family or I feel like I need to, like, it's draining. And so I have made a mental decision to set the boundaries. I talk to a lot of them a lot less, and I've never, like, it's nothing against them, but
it keeps the relationship healthy.
Exactly. There's too many spinning plates that I cultivate the relationships I want, and like, that they know, like, that, like, I look after them. They look after my garden. I look after theirs, however you want to freaking coin it. But like, family members is difficult because you're like, it's blood, my dude. But sometimes family members, you didn't pick them. Like, you don't have to take on the weight of that. Like, sometimes you should be selfish. If someone in your family, like, I know, like, there's so many examples of people, and I have friends where they make excuses or they sort of take on the weight in a way it's really not theirs to take on. And you have to chuck those boundaries up, or else you're going to go insane.
Definitely. And if you don't sometimes put the boundaries up, people won't learn.
They will not fucking learn.
They won't learn anything. It's not making them a better person. It's not making you a better person. It's draining you, and other people feel like that's expected now, or like they just don't learn.
100%.
And boundaries go within your own energy, the time you put into things, your family, your friends, even your work. That's the biggest thing that I have to do. Is I'd used to be like, yep, I'm free whenever. What do you need? I was doing jobs that I wasn't getting paid to do. So I was like doing so much, but not getting like paid, that word I'm looking for, compensation for my time.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, I'd be like burnt out, like I said before. Even now, like I went to a job interview the other day and I was like, okay, well, this is what the times that, like the amount of hours per week that I'm willing to put in. And on the days I can do this, and this, but like I never would earlier on in my 20s say, I can't work this day or I can't work that day. It was, what do you need? I'll work my life around your job.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, you will work your job.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can be flexible around sort of what I've got going on, because a lot of these jobs, they need the staff. And look, I'm going to be a better worker.
I have a podcast.
That's what I said.
But 100%, you're like completely correct.
And if you don't put the boundaries there from the start, it's so much easier to slowly, like it's so much easier to put things down than to put them up. If you start giving your all to this, then as soon as you put up a boundary, the things that they'll say is, oh, you're not as committed. You're not giving your full 100% here.
Dana, 100 on the track. Can you repeat that one more time? It's easy to
put them down than it is to put them up.
Damn, I like that.
Had it happen to me. Where as soon as I thought I gave so much, I was like, hey, I need to take a step back. Look, I'm doing this, and this. I feel like I should either be compensated for that, or if not, I'm going to do my job.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that this, and this won't happen, or I'll be working less. And it was,
Lol, is this where I think it is?
yeah.
Location numero uno.
Yeah. And it was
Tee.
like, no, you're not committed.
Devil's
All these
kitchen.
excuses. And I was like, no, I'm still just as committed. I just need a better work-life balance.
Yes. Next one. And I want to know if you do this, because this is something I like to do, need to do more of, but practicing gratitude. It's a weird one because this gets woohoo.
I know. I've started to do it and it's not lasted long enough for me doing it, but I definitely should do it more.
It is, and like this is like a cute thing that, and my partner Matt is actually really like, he's into like personal development. Like he was on the same train when I met him. We were very aligned in this aspect, in like mental health, communication, positive mindset, because like when you go through things, it's the stuff that builds you back up. And he's the one who really got me onto gratitude, which is funny to me. So sometimes we don't do it every night, but every couple of nights we try and do a what are you grateful for this week or today. Name 3 things aside each other that you're really grateful for or proud of in yourself, which is, it sounds lame, but it's actually a really, really nice.
Can I tell you, like, when I was growing up, my mum would have us at the dinner table. We'd do something similar to that.
Way.
So we'd all go around the dinner table and we'd go around and say, like, what's the best part of your day today? Like, one positive thing that happened.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because we always ate dinner together at the table.
That's so
it
nice.
was always like, we'd call it, what's the best part of your day?
Aww.
And so you do that. So it's definitely something, because I'd want to restart to do, like, what I'm grateful for during the day. Because you forget the little moments, and you forget that all of these little days in between, like a holiday and stuff, are actual, that's what life is, like the moments.
Exactly. And like we do, like I do them in a different sense, and I never knew it, where I do this thing in my life where I take mental screenshots of a moment, and I'll look like an old person who just farted. I'm just smiling to myself. But in my little mental screenshot moment, I really like soak it in, and I'm like, I'm really happy, and this is a really beautiful thing that I'm grateful for. But that's so nice, Mama Dana.
Yeah, she's the cute little best part of your days.
But you can call it whatever the heck you want. Honestly, you don't have to.
As long as you're pulling out something positive and like thinking about it, it's because I have these conversations with about, we always have this goal that we want to get to.
Yep.
And we're always striving for this, whether it's like to make this amount of money or to get here, to have that freedom. But it's the steps along the way. It's the story that we need to also enjoy. But once we get to that point, there's always going to be something else that you're going to want. When you get there, how long are you going to enjoy this?
Yeah.
Before you're chasing something else.
Yeah.
And if you're continuously chasing and not enjoying it, you're never going to stop. You're never going to have fulfillment.
1 million subscribers.
I mean, it'll be great, but like we're going to be moving on to the next goal and the next goal and the next goal.
Yeah.
So it's you needing to be able to enjoy the little things as well as the big things.
Yeah. And what about, I didn't write this down, but I've now thought of it. It's another one that seems so woohooey to me. And like I premise, if anyone's like words of affirmation.
Like positive self-talk?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when you were talking about gratitude.
Which to me, again, just reminds me of those hippie chicks on Instagram that are like, me, happiness, tell yourself good things. And I'm like, blurg. It's not my cuppa.
I feel the same.
But
it
we
is clinically shown to help you.
If you don't frame it as words of affirmation, I fuck with it. But like
I know exactly what you mean. I want to
positive reassurance,
positive reassurance and positive self-talk, because they always say like the way that you view yourself is the way that, like, you know, you wake up in the morning and you'll feel differently about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm very bad at. I'm terrible. Everyone's their own worst critic, but sometimes it gets to a point where I'm like, that's ridiculous, Dana. Like, you need to telling myself to shut up.
You're
and then I'm
standing in the mirror like, you fucking one-eyed lizard, I'd fight you.
Oh, yeah, you wake up in the morning and you go, Jesus, fucking what? And then you're like, I was like, that's not what I remember going to sleep looking like. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to not stand in front of the mirror today and just, maybe be a bit kinder.
But it's literally, even like I talk to myself a heck of a lot, like all the flippant time. Call it whatever you want, but
mental illness.
We'll run with that one.
I do it too.
But like learning to say nice things, because I say negative things. I used to say negative things to myself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And in this whole thing, I've switched it up and I've begun to be kinder in the words that I say out loud. And I sound like a mentally ill patient, but it works because saying stuff out loud it's like tricking yourself, whatever the flim flam you want to call it.
Yeah, I'm definitely one to, as well as going to, you're the best. As long as I'm putting it out there as well. So I've put out that I'm going to the gym before the next episode, and I'm starting that. But I'm also going to start more positive reinforcement on myself. Because I can be like I'll gas anyone up if they need it. I just never gas myself up.
100%. You can be a cheerleader to everyone else, but like you forget to cheer on numero uno.
Come on, Dana, get out of bed today. Woo, let's go.
You're a good looking one-eyed lizard, my man. I don't know why I went with one-eyed lizard.
Moisturize those scales.
Learning more and investigating into personal development. I think that's more on the basis of listening to podcasts.
YouTube videos, things like that.
Freaking, you can TikTok, books, however the heck you digest information. If you go to positive and accurate sources, not like woohooey, take a cold shower and not breathe for 10 seconds.
And don't become a hypochondriac looking up symptoms for different things either.
What's that dude that fool said? What's that guy? It's like he holds his breath for like the most amount he can. There's some weird people out there.
Oh, is it like Wilhelm something?
I have no idea.
See the ice guy?
It's huge. It's huge. Channing Tatum. Wait, no, that bad dude vibes. Who's that bad dude?
What?
Channing
Tatum?
No,
that's an
he's
actor.
A good dude. Tate.
Oh, Andrew Tate.
That absolute crumb bum on a bold biscuit. But and that was Dana.
Crumb bum on a bold biscuit. That flowed way too good.
But no, like it's one, once you sort of start thinking and diving into this, like my sister and I always have conversations about this because we both, sort of have seen the importance, and me being the big sister, I've tried to instill it more in her, and I try and give her the resources and tell her to look further into it, because you can talk to someone about stuff, but you have to do the investigation yourself. You have to learn yourself and find the right ones for you, because
absolutely
one size doesn't fit all, my dude.
And a big thing about it as well is, even though like sometimes the journey can feel so alone and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the only one feeling this type of way, talking about it, you don't have to talk about it to everyone, but sometimes sharing it, you realize that you can help other people and you can make people feel less alone.
Creating safe places. This one is something I identify with moving places, because it was a huge thing I learned was super important, because growing up, when there was tension or anything in the household, I used to run and hide, and I had a special little place for myself, and it was where it was like my safe little spot. And as I got older, my safe places were always like I had a home and I was tethered to something. And when I moved away from home, or like, when you like, to give an example, when you travel and you feel just like a little disconnected in a sense, like it's all exciting.
Yeah, it's like this homesick in a way.
It's like that. But when I moved to Sydney and initially I didn't have a home base because I moved up and I was sharing a room, I felt really like borderline, like I disassociated. Like it's like I was a balloon without the string tied to something.
Tied to anything.
And it sounds really weird, but anyone who's moved, and speaking with a lot of my friends, know the symptom. When you don't have a safe place, and people in certain situations have this or stuff like that, you need to create it for yourself, even if it's a tiny little place or it's your home. It's somewhere where, just like with people you feel safe, you need
a place. It's similar to the way that people say, if like say your mind's a mess, it can be a like reflection of your environment.
correct.
So if you
Lol, welcome to my room.
So it's saying like if you have like a cleaner space or like a safe space, you're more likely to be able to process everything.
It's the basics of freaking, we learned it in high school. It's, what's the 5 basic needs?
Love and
safety,
affection.
food, sex, shit.
They did not teach me this at school.
No, this is actually borderline think this was business because it's people's needs. There's 5 of them. Huge one that I bypassed forever and still need to work on. Sleep.
Yeah, the sleep is a big thing.
Dude, I've
had a very bad relationship with sleep.
We're pretty on the same level of this, aren't we?
Yeah, it's only till like recently, and I notice like trends. If I'm feeling a certain type of way, I won't sleep. But I've also been like a really, really heavy, like my shifts. I was a shift worker for like majority of my life, so I've never had a good relationship with sleep.
Yeah,
I can sleep anywhere for like over 12 hours at a time, but then
Yeah.
I'll be working, and I could do 3 hours or 5 hours sleep, and then keep going.
Yeah.
And now it's just all over the place.
And like, you do not realize like
The effects.
the worst mental states of my life I can coin back to. I was going to bed at 3, 4 o'clock, and I'd either sleep until 3 p.m.
100.
or
Plus, along with that is diet and sleep.
Yes. My diet was spaghetti, and I'd have an iceberg lettuce on the side, and I'd eat 1 spoon of spaghetti, one thing of and then eat a lettuce piece.
Like a sanctuary bow kind of vibe.
Yeah. And I thought that was health.
Oh gosh, no, I was running off like a few iced coffees and like a small meal on the break that I might get at work. Sleeping way too late and then getting up late again. And also not being in the sun as well. So I'm very fair as it is, but not having enough like sunshine.
Vitamin D.
Seasonal depression, goddamn, that's a thing.
And I'm vitamin D on all ends, my dudes. You got to be happy on all fronts. Dana's giving me a funny look. Need that vitamin D, baby.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, Dana's mum. Here's a good one that you sort of mentioned before we started. Do you think COVID was the catalyst for a lot of people's little personal development discovery train?
I feel like a lot of people COVID
BC, AC.
BC. Before COVID, there were some people that I was one of them that was like, I just need time. I just need this, just need that. And then COVID gave you the time.
Bro needs.
Gave you it.
Ample. Where were you? Were you living with someone, or what was your situation when you were in lockdown? I know we had different ones. But
I had a very transitional COVID. So I was originally in my house with my 2 housemates, and one had to go back overseas to Canada, and then one was like, it just doesn't make sense to live here when it's too expensive. So the house broke up. And I moved in with my friend, and I was sleeping on their couch because they had 2-bedroom apartment to 2 of them, and I was on the couch. And they took me because it was like trying to find a place. And then we were going to find a place all together. And then his roommate went back to France.
Oh my gosh.
And so we found a place together. And we ended up moving between 2 places together, which was good. But yeah, I was in a definite transitional period. But after we'd found a place and moved in together, we were still in a bit of lockdown. And that's where I originally came up, and I sat down and I was like writing down things, ideas in my book and things that I wanted to do. And I knew that I didn't want to continue to work for other people for as much as I'd like effort that I've been putting in. Because I was tired. I was sick of being someone else's lackey. Fast forward, I ended up going to work for a company for 2.5 years and falling into the same patterns. It's not perfect.
But you met me.
I did. And that's where it's funny because our first apartment that we moved in together after we decided we were going to live together, that was the place where I had written down like that I wanted to start a podcast. And I hadn't told anyone about it. I'd written it down in my notes. And during this time, I bought all the mics.
The mics that we're holding right now.
The equipment. So fast forward 2 years from then, and here we are. So COVID originally brought this along. And I just held on. I didn't tell anyone, and I just held on to this idea because I was like, oh, this is, I needed a few extra things to like make it work. I didn't know exactly how I would go about it, and there was no one in my life that I was like, oh yeah, let's do that. And I also didn't fully believe in myself to do it.
100%.
It was just an idea.
Yeah,
I was like, okay. And it wasn't until like I was with James and we were like, sharing our stories and our dreams and everything like that. And just one day I was like, oh, podcast. And he's like, I said to him, I was like, I had this idea like about a podcast, and then I was like, who would be great to do a podcast with? And then he was like, who? And I was like, Courtney. He's like, have you told her? I was like, no. And then flash forward to that night.
Yeah,
so COVID and James got this thing going.
And it's so funny because when that happened, and like it's really important to have these relationships that cultivate us to grow. Because
Definitely.
Matt's response after I told him that you said let's start a podcast, he says, then tomorrow begin planning. And he was like, put it into action, make it happen.
Yeah, because we'll be those people that talk about it.
Yeah.
And never do it.
He was like, you genuinely seem super excited by the idea. And I was like, 100%. And he's like, well, then make it happen. And this is a really, really important thing. We have relationships where in our journey of everything that we're discovering and learning, we're with people that want to promote and grow with us and
100%.
push us to reach for the stars.
Yeah, as
infinity
crazy as it seems, there's no ceiling that's too high to break through. And
not for you, you're very tall.
Yeah, I'll break it for you. I'll put you on my shoulders.
And then we make a mega diner.
Magadana. But you're exactly right with having these relationships that like to push you forward and just being supportive in all aspects and to push you to do things that you might not want to do. Like I could have sat on the idea of doing that forever, but James will be the first person to be like, hey, have you told Courtney? And then you'll be like, what? And I'll be like, gotta tell you now.
It's important to have, so this is like something I like to call it because I have a couple friends and you fall under this bracket. I like to have friends around me that like are my world domination friends. And it's a feeling that I have when I'm with this person that I feel like I could commit world domination with them. When I'm with
over the world.
We'll take over the world one podcast at a time.
Dun, 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 dun.
But like it's this thing of when I'm with you or the reason I moved in with my housemate, when I'm with them or when I'm with either of you, seriously, it feels as though you motivate me. You have the same ideas as me. You believe in these things. You want more. And it really brings me, like I'm already out of my shell. I'm confident, but not confident in my projects or the things I want to achieve. I'm confident on a different level.
Yeah.
And give me this, oh my God, I'm going to lame it up here. You give me the strength to do more. And that's a testament to you and our relationship.
I was trying to think of a song to sing to go with that, but I couldn't think of anything.
When I see your face.
Not a thing. I'm not singing on this podcast.
Oh my
this
God.
isn't podcast karaoke.
But yeah, no. So to go back to BC after giving you just like the compliment train, you're okay. That was wild from you moving around a lot. I actually did the old Melbourne COVID, which was not a vibe. But I had it was I don't know what you want to call it. I think it was like the most perfect timing ever. I had just broken up with my boyfriend, and it was awful how it ended. And COVID made me move him out because I didn't move him out when we broke up initially.
Oh my goodness.
And so, no, we were in limbo for fucking ages, and it was toxic, and I couldn't let go. And then finally, with COVID looming, I was like, well, I'm gonna pull the trigger on here. And so I asked him to move out, and I thought it was going to be me and my other, like, my really close friend at that time. And sadly, she went back home, and I went from having a friend and my ex to me and my cat. Luckily, I had my baby at the time, but I was forced to be alone, and I am not an alone operator. And
you need to have a time alone sometimes.
But it was so, like, again, it was as awful as it was. I actually, like, it's not this whole thing of like, you must be alone. Like, no, you don't have to be alone. But at this point in my life, I was forced, and there was nothing going on. So I didn't miss out on anything. I didn't overexert myself. I was forced to just chill. And that's when I started content creating. And it sounds like something super dumb, but it was a strength of I believed in myself for once and did something I wanted to do. And it sounds really lame, but like I started something I'd always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then, really hit the podcast and all that crap because I had so much free time.
Free time, reflection time to just actually like be with yourself.
100%. I was mega personal growthing. I was journaling. I stopped listening to sad music. That was huge. I love like my genre of emo rap and like emo punk.
When you're in a COVID apartment by yourself, maybe not so heavy on the emo punk.
I yeeted it. I made a pillow fort in my lounge room. That was mad. And yeah, I was a lucky person to whom found themselves in a good situation from a bad situation to a good situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks, COVID. Not the other parts because that sucked, but...
Yeah, I feel like we've all had, different experiences with COVID and things like that. Like it was sometimes where it was terrible, but sometimes looking back over it all.
Bro, the masks, no hugging.
No groceries in the shops.
Fighting dudes to get toilet paper. My gosh.
That was horrific.
No.
I took toilet paper from work one time, but while I was still working, because
100. I took it from a public restroom that forgot to close itself. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we did what we needed to do
to survive. I think on an ending note, we should say that with everything that we've spoken about, and whether you are new to the concept or this is something that you've sort of investigated, or like you're like us, like, still learning and growing, irregardless, like, we're still human. We're still going through shit. Like, don't ever feel like what you're doing isn't enough. Like,
everyone's journey to finding themselves and everyone's journey looks different.
Exactly.
It's not what's the word, linear. So just know that just because you might not be at the same stages as someone else doesn't mean that it changes your journey at all.
100%. And we might link a few things in whatever, I think, in our description on helpful tools that have used, podcasts or videos. if you guys want to have a look, because it is really important to look into these things. But if you're ever struggling, just honestly reach out and make those safe spaces in every aspect of life, because you deserve it.
Definitely.
But
reach out.
But we proud of you, man. I'm proud of you, Dana.
I'm proud of you.
Go team.
Go.
This has been Not Qualified to Be Here. We're not qualified psychiatrists, so don't sue us for anything.
Yes, we're only giving our own opinions and advice based on our experience. So do with it what you will.
Except for world domination.
Yeah. No.
If you want to do that, get us in that as well.
Yeah, that's a team sport.
Yep. Amen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.